It's been almost 3 years since I was 15. Back then, I had a lot of difficult moments. I only had my guardian, but she had trouble keeping a job because of her own issues. As a kid, we changed homes a bunch, never really having one place that was ours, except for a few brief moments. We'd moved to new spots all of a sudden, and when I hit 15, we were looking at the possibility of not having a home again. I was starting to get used to it, staying outside more than I wanted to. We had to leave the house we were staying in. My guardian had a place at her partner's house, but I didn't have anywhere to go. I stopped hanging out with my friends because they weren't good for me. My guardian invited me to live with her, but I felt odd about staying with her and her partner. Somehow, I had gotten used to living on the streets. I was at a fast food place and had some burgers. After eating, I left as the sun went down. I was trying to find a place to sleep for the night. I went into a few places but couldn't find a good spot. Some were too warm, too bright, or had bugs that kept biting me. I remembered a house where I used to go to chill out. It was getting repaired and was almost done. All the closed doors and windows stopped bugs from coming in. I went in from the back just like before and went upstairs. I went to the bathroom because it was cleaner there. I tried to sleep, but then I heard sounds from downstairs. At first, I thought it might be the door I used earlier moving because of the wind. I didn't pay attention to it at first, but the noises didn't stop. It went on for about an hour, and it made it hard for me to fall asleep. So, I decided to go outside and sit on the back porch. I was sitting there for a while, using my phone, when I noticed something moving to my left, right near the back door I had just walked out of. I quickly turned around and got scared. I saw a man standing in the dark, peeking at me. I could only see his upper body, and he stayed hidden behind the wall. He stayed completely still. Usually, I talk to homeless people, so I thought he might want to chat too. But he didn't move at all, like a statue. Maybe if I hadn't noticed him, he would have kept watching. So, I stood up, took my bike, and left. While I was riding away from the backyard, I quickly looked through the window next to the door, and I saw the man. The light from the moon let me see that someone was still there, watching me as I went away. I could only see the top of his head and one eye because he stayed in the shadows. He was a tall guy wearing a jacket, but I couldn't see many other details. I quickly left, and when I glanced back from the road, he wasn't there anymore. I couldn't sleep that night no matter where I tried, and that's the end of what happened. It wasn't a big, exciting chase or something dangerous, just a normal part of life. I'll never understand why that guy was there, but maybe he was looking for a place to stay, just like me. The way he was looking at me made me really scared. I don't know how long he was there or what he might have done if I fell asleep inside. Would he have kept watching me, or was he planning something else? I'll never find out, but since then, I've decided I'm never going into a house like that again. Me and my partner live in an apartment on the 6th floor. There are 4 apartments on each floor, split into pairs. Each pair has a metal door that works like a shield for both apartments. I really love stray cats. I bring them home and take care of them until I can find them a forever home. Last week I had to take my cat Leah to the vet for a checkup. When I got back home, something really strange happened. When I got out of the elevator and walked towards our building's main door, I noticed a guy. He was young and wearing a white hoodie, a black cap, and sunglasses on his head. But the strangest thing was his right eye. It looked really swollen and purple, like someone had hit him really hard. A guy was standing near our building's door, looking towards me. At first, I thought he might be waiting for someone or something. I didn't really pay attention and went out with Leah through the door. That's when he talked to me and asked if I had a lighter. He asked me if I wanted him to hurt my cat. It made me uncomfortable because earlier I told him I don't smoke, but he still bothered my friend Leah by touching her ear. I was really surprised and angry because I care a lot about animals. I asked him why he said something like that, hoping he'd realize it was wrong. But he didn't care and just told me to leave. I got really scared, but I went to the vet anyway. When I told my partner, they were mad that I didn't call the police. But I was afraid they wouldn't believe me or might think I was causing trouble for no reason. So, I tried to put it out of my mind. My partner got a job at the hospital and works at different times, so sometimes I'm home alone. Our neighborhood isn't very safe, but usually I feel fine. But something scary happened recently. After my partner left for work and locked everything up, they called me sounding really worried. They saw the same guy who had tried to get into our building before, banging on the door and shouting. My partner called the police, but when they arrived, the person had already left. The police found him later, but they couldn't keep him because he hadn't done anything wrong when they caught him. That's why I hesitated to call them earlier. I was worried they wouldn't believe me. I talked to the person in charge of our building, and she said there's a guy who lives alone here who matches the description. People say he uses drugs and drinks a lot. And guess what? Lately, we've noticed marks from a knife in the elevator. We use that elevator every day, so it's kind of concerning. I've been having really scary dreams lately. Once, someone almost broke into my house, but my cats noticed and scared them away. Another time, my partner heard weird sounds in our home after coming back late from work. We were worried someone might have been watching us. I'm really afraid because I think someone might be watching us or checking when we're home. It's making me feel really uneasy. I've got a baseball bat now, like in that story about someone peeking, just in case I need to protect our home. I hope things get better soon because feeling safe at home shouldn't be so tough. Before I continue to the next story, if you are interested in earning from YouTube without showing your face, or without making videos by yourself using artificial intelligence, like the video that you are watching right now, then I have a special free training for you. Check the first link in the description below to get instant access. I was looking for a car for my cousin, Emma, who was about to turn 16. I searched on websites like Cars.com and eBay Motors, but everything was too expensive. Then I found Craigslist, where I could find something affordable. After looking for about a week, I found a 2003 Honda Civic. It had really low mileage, only 67,000 miles, and the advertisement said it was in great condition and cost only $3,000. It seemed like a fantastic deal for a dependable car with so few miles on it. Sam, the person selling the car, lived around 10 miles from me, which wasn't too far for a good car. I called Sam and we planned to meet so I could see the car. He seemed normal on the phone and said the car was in really good shape. I took money with me, but I wanted to try and get a lower price. When I arrived at Sam's house, it was a small one with a nice yard, and it was far from other houses. The garage door was up, so I took a quick look inside, hoping to find someone. But there was nobody there, just a lot of car pieces. There weren't any cars around, except for one old pickup truck. I walked up to the front door and made sure I had the right address. When I tried to ring the doorbell, I found out the button was missing. So I knocked on the door instead. I kept knocking for about 5 minutes, hoping someone would hear me. When nobody answered, I decided to call Sam. I heard his phone ringing in the house, but he wasn't answering. I was confused because he should have been home. I peeked through a window to check, but it was dark inside. I could see an old-style dining table and someone standing by the back door, just looking out. I thought it was probably Sam, so I tapped on the window, but he didn't budge at all. The backyard didn't have any fence or barriers. It was completely open. I wanted to see if he could hear me better from behind, so I went to check. When I got nearer, I found something surprising. The thing near the door was just a stuffed toy person. I quickly ran back to my car, feeling really scared. Before I left, I looked up at the window I had peeked into earlier. Curtains were closed, but I could still see a little space. Someone was inside watching me. I felt really scared as I drove away, trying to understand what had just happened. Everything was so strange. The missing car, the weird doll, it was all wrong. But then on my way home, I remembered something strange. The ad said to email Sam if the phone had problems. Maybe there was a mistake or a mix-up. I stopped my car, breathed in deep, and chose to email Sam. I told him I couldn't reach him but really wanted the car. Soon after, he replied, apologizing for not answering my calls. He said he'd be home in an hour. I was really curious, so I decided to go back to Sam's house to find some answers. When I got there, the garage door was shut, and there was a car parked in front of it. It was a 2003 Honda Civic, just like the one in the ad. I was confused. Maybe I'd gotten the wrong house before. I knocked on the front door one more time. This time, Sam opened it. He looked surprised to see me and said he had to go out when I came by before. He asked me to come in. When I went inside, I saw the familiar old-style dining table and the window I had looked through before. But the stuffed figure I saw by the back door earlier was gone. I asked about it because I was curious. Sam seemed confused and went to the back door to prove that everything was normal there. He said he didn't have any stuffed toys and thought there was a mistake. I was a little unsure and embarrassed, so I said sorry and asked to look at the car. Sam showed me to the garage, and there it was, the 2003 Honda Civic, just like how it was described in the ad. I looked at it, drove it around to test it, and it seemed really good, like it was in perfect shape. When I left Sam's house, I felt strange. I kept thinking about something odd I saw earlier. I wondered if it was just because of the light, or if I imagined it. Maybe I was stressed about getting the right car. But I was happy I found a perfect car for Emma's birthday. As I drove home, I laughed about how weird things turned out.